truth finally came out. Caitlin Clark voted on by general managers, the best point guard, the best shooting guard, and the singular player they would start the franchise with. In the weird, insular WNBA, this has been a real struggle. You know the truth. So once you could be honest about it, and that's, I guess, what you have to be anonymously in the WNBA. And there's these people who are fans of indie bands, international soccer, and the WNBA. They have this gatekeeping mentality. We'll tell you who's great. Colin, I was watching the WNBA long before Caitlin Clark. Well, yeah, it's not my problem your social life was boring. I'm not going to apologize for watching it when it got really interesting. And I've said this about Steph Curry. I love Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler and pods. But if you take Steph Curry out of the Warriors, they're kind of boring. And if you take Caitlin Clark out of the WNBA and her team, it's not the same. She's packing now larger arenas. She's taking and making shots nobody's ever done in the history of the sport. She is Steph Curry. I mean, there's a reason the NBA puts Steph Curry on Christmas. And privately, the NBA with Steph Curry out of the playoffs knows Minnesota's not going to get the same number. WNBA players weirdly have been fighting growth. Stop fighting the truth. Get out of your own way. It is a bad look. She is a fascinating player. And it must be exhausting hating new cool things. I mean, here's what's funny. When Steph Curry entered the NBA, you didn't hear any of this. Whoa, slow down. You know what you heard? Bro, I can take those shots now. Steph Curry opened up the floor for other guys in shooting. Big guys started practicing their threes. Forwards started practicing their threes. He opened up opportunities. And never forget, the Warriors' valuation was $315 million before he got there. The latest valuation is $8.2 billion.
Okay, so it's not entirely true what Colin is saying here, though, because there was some pushback with Steph Curry. Make no mistake about it. They said, well, why is he popular? And, you know, LeBron James, and they tried to make it a physical appearance thing. I'm not going to go too much in the details, but, you know, they tried their best. They tried their best, essentially, you know, what they've been doing against Caitlin Clark. The difference with Steph is that it was so inevitable, and that he started winning those rings, that it was just like, we can't fight against it, right? There is no, we can't, we're forced to join him. And that is with Caitlin Clark, right? She is inevitable, and she's beyond Steph Curry. She's beyond LeBron James, beyond Michael Jordan, because there is no WNBA without Caitlin Clark. Okay, Steph Curry, yeah, the ratings will take a hit without Steph Curry, and, you know, without LeBron, et cetera, and it is a little bit less fun, a little bit less interesting, but people will still watch. It's still, there's still enough there. The WNBA is nothing without Caitlin Clark. Nothing. Go watch the other games, and they're just nowhere near as interesting without Caitlin Clark. That's just the reality is. Right? And over time, ideally, that will change. And that's why I kind of kept saying that all last season, where it was like, stop pushing Caitlin Clark away. Yes, there are other great players in the WNBA, but let them fall in love with Caitlin Clark. Let them fall in love with the Indiana Fever. And then they're going to start watching other games. They're going to start watching other players. And then their fan base is going to grow as a whole, which is exactly what always happens when you bring in new fans from individual players, whether it's MJ, whether it's LeBron, Kobe, Steph, etc. You're all there for Steph. You think Steph is the most exciting player, but then you're like, oh, wow, Jokic is pretty cool too. And oh, wow, Klay Thompson, he can shoot too. You know, Draymond Green, he's fun to watch, and KD, and on and on and on. But, you know, most players, most fans, they get introduced to a team, to a sport through a singular player, right? Like, that's just how it happens, right? It's celebrity culture. And so you don't fight it, you run with it. And then it's up to everyone else in the WNBA to elevate their quality of play, okay? To elevate what they can do on the court. But it's just, It's just kind of funny to me that at this point we're still kind of having this conversation in terms of like how impactful Caitlin Clark really is. She's everything in the WNBA. She's everything. Okay? Like, that is just the reality. This channel, these videos that I'll be making, or, you know, once the season for the WNBA starts tomorrow, like, I'm going to be so all in on the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. And I will cover some of the other teams, but I try to cover what I think actually fundamentally matters. And the reality is Caitlin Clark is what matters. And when it's time for me to cover the other teams, it'll be when they play Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever. The league runs through Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. That's just the reality. That's how this works. And everyone should just fall in line with it because it will improve the quality of your life. You'll make more money. You'll be more famous. There'll be more opportunity. The league can grow. Like, nobody should be upset about it. It's just the way this works. And it's how it's consistently worked. Okay, we always talk about this, especially in football. Like, you know, Tom Brady got players paid. Patrick Mahomes got players paid. LeBron James has got players paid. You know, won rings. What's his face? Oh, I can't think of his name right now. Chris Long was like, Tom Brady has got a lot of players rings over the years, and it's like, that's the way it works. That's the way it works. You know, it's just there is no equality in sports. There's just not. It's the great equalizer in the sense that if you're amazing, if you're popular, if you're special, well, then you do it, right? And if you're not, then you're not. You either can ball or you can't. It becomes so binary. You're either special or you're not. There's no in between. There's really, really, really not. If Steph Curry wasn't as great as he was, then he wouldn't be as popular as he was or is. You know, I mean, that's just the way this works. So you can try to force things. You can try to tell yourself, well, these other players are really great too, and this other player is really special too. It's like, if that's true, then prove it. Prove it. It'll happen. It'll happen. You know, the only special thing about Caitlin Clark ultimately ends up being her game. Like, that's why we're all here. If it wasn't, if her game was just average, people would not be all over Caitlin Clark. They would not be talking about, oh, she's also such a great personality. There's plenty of other players in the WNBA, in the NBA, in the NFL, etc., that have great personalities, and they help the world, and they do Make-A-Wish foundations, and, you know, they're really good looking, and they're charming, and this, that. If you ball, you can ball. Jimmy G from the NFL, right? When he was balling and playing good and going to a Super Bowl, he was all over the map. Jimmy GQ. He stopped winning. Nope, nobody cares. Nobody calls him Jimmy GQ. He's not on the cover of magazines. They're not trying to figure out who's he dating. They're not talking about how good looking he is and how charming he is. You're not winning. He's not balling. He's not throwing touchdowns in NFC championship games. It's that simple. It's really that simple. It's that straightforward. You ball or you can't. Caitlin Clark can ball, and I'm excited for how this season unfolds. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever? Do you think she will lead the Fever to a title in year 2? And how special do you think she will be this season? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions, get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.